cow, what the heck? Is it that time again?
What's up, Bill?
This, everybody, I know you're surprised, but here I am with Mr. James Cross. All
How did
right.
you get here? Huh? Dang it, you just keep sneaking into my garage.
And you know what? There's always something good going on in that garage.
Yeah.
And actually today there's something really good going on because you've been just like showing things that and you just blow by them as if they're natural and normal. And you know what? I'm calling you on it this time. Because when we look under those control panels where you got the fog positive and all that kind of stuff, there's this like electronic board there that has all of the electronics on it, and that is actually a work of art. And so in this episode, we need to go over what the heck you are doing on those electronic boards.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a big deal, but I guess it kind of is,
Yeah,
you
well, you
know?
know what? Most of us, we have these arcades, we have our lights, and we have the fogger, we have the mister, we have all these little timers all over the place. We have these extension cords. It's a complete mess. And you know what? We don't like messes, and it doesn't look good, and we all want it to. We'd all love a little order in our lives. Let's bring
Mm.
order out of chaos, Mr. Cross. So
Well,
how can you help us?
I can show you how to make that pull-out slide, I guess, Bill.
Well, you know what? That's
I
why
didn't
I
even know it was
love
a big
having this
deal.
show.
I just happened to be getting ready to build one for the other one, and I already have all the parts here. So, what the heck? I figured I'd just put it together in front of you.
Well, I dropped by at the right time then.
What do you know? Huh?
All right. So well, first of all, let's go ahead
What?
and
What?
you know what? Somebody may be watching this for the first time saying, "What the heck are they talking about?" So,
We got some pictures, don't we?
well, Blitz Doggy, we sure do. So, let's see.
There's.
Let's go ahead and I'll just go down the line. Show the first one. Show
Oh, yep.
this cute thing just sitting in there. You see there on the
Okay.
side. We'll let you
Okay.
explain.
So that's the. I guess really what happened to me is I was so tired of having all my plugs and stuff sitting on the ground, everything just kind of plugged into it, and then what do I got underneath there?
You mean sitting on the
Water.
ground in the puddle of water from when your fogger leaks?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and then every time I looked in there, what timer's what? You know, what's plugged into what? Why isn't this working? Holy crap! When you start adding 5 and 6 and 7 plugged in devices, you don't you start losing track of what's what. And so I just started consolidating and I started playing around with it. And that's kind of what I came up with. But the problem was I still had a hard time getting in there to get to the equipment because it's inside the darn cabinet. I was like, man, I need to be able to pull this out of the cabinet, and that's when I came up with picture number 2. Boom,
Boom, baby.
huh?
Now
So
that
if you
looks cool.
so of course the wires aren't super organized in that one yet, and when we get to the end of the show, we'll show the last two on my bigger units. But basically, what I've got there is you can see those two metal brackets attached to the wall there, yeah.
Yep.
And what those are is called full extension drawer glides. They're what you have in your kitchen on the higher end cabinets. The pull out drawers, they roll on these glides, and I was like, those are $15. I'll just throw some on a board, and I'll be able to pull my electronics out of the freaking cabinet. So that's
Yeah.
how it happened.
Now, I do want to point out that you got a lot of plugs there. Is that for more than one cage?
Not this one. Believe it or not, that is one of my habitats. Yeah, I got problems, Bill.
Well, you're going to have to, somewhere along the way, I'm going to let you do the timing. You're going to have to give a tour as to what is what on
Well,
there.
we could do that part real quick right now before we build it, since we
Oh,
have it up
okay.
on the screen. So if you look at the top left-hand corner there, you see a brick, an orange brick that's on top of the timer. That right there is my fogger. So I have that for a single head um, mist House of Hydro It's hot, Bill. It's very hot.
I don't know how hot it is. It's like 107 up there.
107 outside. I don't know what the inside of the garage is like, but it is freaking hot.
Well, you're on fire, James, so it's probably 125.
So what that is I've got my fan and my transformer block plugged into one timer. Okay.
Okay. And for those who remember our foggers, when we make our fogger go, we have both a fog disc that produces fog as well as a fan that provides the pressure so the fog goes up. So those two go on together. That's why
So
it's
those
got
are
two at one.
both on the same timer. My next one is going to be my basking light. Okay. And I have that set to come on a half hour before everything else. My next one is going to be my UVB.
Okay.
My UVB comes on 30 minutes after my basking light comes on. If you go down to the bottom and to the right, that's my Jungle Dawn. That one comes on an hour after my um, basking light comes on. So basically, my lights gradually get brighter. And with those timers, you have a double setting on them. So I'm able to do the reverse of that at night. So the Jungle Dawn goes off first, then the UVB, and then the basking light is the last thing to turn off.
Okay.
And then if you look next to that, that's for my fans. I have a circular, I always put a computer fan in my systems because, as you guys know about me, I'm on the West Coast. We have zero humidity back here. So to keep air circulation in my cages, I use a computer fan, and my habitats are pretty much hybrid, and they're almost completely closed up to keep my humidity in. So that will kick on around 9 o'clock. You see the little fans down there. So one of those fans, the bottom one is going to be my fogger fan, and the top one's going to be my computer fan on top of my cage. And that one I have kick on at 10 o'clock and shut off at about 5 o'clock. Um, when I have a mist cycle, which I do have one at 8 o'clock, and when at 5 o'clock, that fan will shut off and then turn back on again. So it allows the misters to fully function without blowing the water all over the place.
Well,
So
where's
it's a
the
little
timer?
technical. Say that again.
Do you have a mister on here into one of those timer blocks?
In this one, I do not.
Okay.
And this at this moment, I didn't have it all set up that way. But I do have that. But we don't need that because our Mist King comes with its own timer. And
Yes,
boy, you can't beat that timer. It's the best.
that's a good one.
You,
It's a seconds
yeah, you
timer.
can literally get down to the seconds with that guy. So basically, that's how I have my setup going.
All right,
Probably a
explain
little overkill, but that's the way I like it.
overkill.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
know.
people come here for, James. You are meeting specifications, meeting expectations. Uh, so explain these little timer blocks. What are they, and why did you choose those?
Yes, I'm prepared.
Well, look at that.
Okay, so a million years ago, I started out with these guys.
Yep,
Okay, do you remember these? And you pull one little guy
I
up.
remember those.
Okay, and you push one down, and as this thing spins on the time, it turns the lights on and off. If it's up, it's on. If it's down, it's off. I really like these. I kept these going up until about 2 years ago when we started having all these weird power outages. Um, they're like $6.
Yep,
I mean, how do you beat that? The only bummer about these, and the only problem that I have with these, is if the power goes off, you got to go reset every single one of them.
yep. That's
Once
the
I got to a point with, you know, um, all the power outages that we started having out here, these started becoming a real pain in the butt. And then, of
yep,
course, you can get bigger versions of it. Okay. And these are heavy duty, so they can handle some serious power. So you can run 3 or 4 plugs off of this one unit. But these are great for the novice who doesn't have a lot of power issues. And look at that one really close. This one's really micro when it comes to the little knobs. So you can really do some tweaking with your power going on and off. Well, so then I got to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm changing all these out for digital. And at the time that I started doing it, the only digital ones they had were these. And they
okay.
worked fairly well. The problem that I had with them was you only got one setting out of it. So um, it'll do it day and night, but they're really super hard to program. So, and the biggest issue I had with these is I could only fit 2 of these on a power strip.
Yeah.
So that really started becoming an issue because I started getting creative and adding the extra lights and trying to get each light to turn on at separate times. So I started adding more timers. And this is just being creative over the years and trying to mimic, uh, make my husbandry just like, well, like you, Bill. You caused a lot of this back when I used to just sit in the background and listen. So then this is what I'm using now, and I
No more
really,
relaxing for you.
you created a monster, Mister Strand. I started getting these. You seen these?
Plug in timer. What is special about that one?
Okay, I love these.
I have not
I'm,
seen that particular brand.
yeah, woo, showing them something new, folks. Okay,
All
so
right.
these have a double setting on them. Okay, so you can do an on and off and an on and off at whatever time you want to, or you just set them both to the same thing and you'll end up with an on and off at the same time. But what's so cool about these?
Okay, so let's just get it clear. So there's got two plugs in there, and are they independent?
It's not 2 plugs, it's 2 times.
Okay, so
So
you've
an
got two
AM
cycles that
and a
you can
PM.
program.
You can have it go on and off 2 separate times. No,
Okay,
you cannot. It's only a single plug.
okay.
But if so being, and you need to do that, pick you up one of these for 50 cents.
50 cents, especially around Halloween.
Yeah, well, yeah. This is the pumpkin version. Little face, little ghosts.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay?
Go to Home Depot, and everything now is orange and black, and it's
And
timers and plugs are all over the place right now. Halloween and Christmas are the best time for this.
and stay away from the front. Those Halloween directions are awesome. Okay, so what I do with that guy is I just plug him in there, and now I have 3 outlets.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
and this timer is heavy duty enough that it can handle 3 lights no problem.
Okay.
But wait, you just wait with that next question.
I
Here's why I like them, Bill. You got a lot of different kinds of power strips out there.
Yeah.
This power strip it has a surge protector on it, but what I like is if you notice the plugs themselves are horizontal.
Okay.
Okay, now you'll find them where they're the other way, and those are pretty much useless for what we're
Yeah.
doing. Okay, what's cool about this is you're gonna love this one, Bill.
I am preparing to be in love. Oh my goodness.
Wait, I can put more.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, and by the way, everybody, we're kind of joking, but not really. When you have a strip where the plugs are what horizontal, if you've tried it, you know, and like you can fit two things on the entire strip.
On a whole strip of 5, you can put 3 on this guy,
All
no
right.
problem. Okay, and then you got 3. You can scoot this guy down, add your block,
What the heck?
all on one.
Ah, that's awesome.
Is that awesome or what?
Ah,
Huh?
oh,
So that's why I like these. Okay.
okay.
The other thing that, as you know, with these digital timers, the power can go off all at once. When the power comes back on, these are right where they were set. They don't lose their memory, they don't lose their timing. And that's what makes these so awesome for me. No more coming home and resetting 40 timers.
So okay, you know what? Let's do a review for everybody
Okay.
out there. Could you show up your first manual timer? All right, put that up there. All right, everybody. This is the most basic kind of timer, and it is the advantages of a timer like this are it is simple. You look at it and you can click it on and off. You can figure out where the on time is, where the off time is, just by looking at it, and there is no complication to put it together. It's simple. It works. Disadvantage is, as James said, when the power goes out, that needs to be reset when the power comes back on because it's just a simple mechanical timer.
Yep. See
And
that little arrow right there? All you
yep.
do is point the time to that little arrow, and that's what time it is.
Yeah, that switch on top, it will, if you flip that to one side, it will just go on and bypass the timer. You flip it to the other side, and it goes with the timer, so you can manually turn this thing on easily. All right.
That is an advantage that you don't have with the digital, by the way. Sometimes
Yeah.
I do want to turn on my timer in the middle of the day, and I got to unplug it and just plug it in.
Yeah. And you know why? It does have the feature. Most of these digital timers do have that feature, but you know what? We're going to start with the drawback of the digital timer. So let's
Okay?
go ahead and pull up that digital timer. All right. You know what? Let's go for the advantage. The advantage of the digital timer is that uh, it can retain its settings when the power goes off, and they're a little bit more compact. You can find these digital timers to the point where they actually have two plugs that are independent. So you can have two different independent controls of this. The drawback of these things is they are so freaking hard to program. And once you learn how to program one, you're going to forget 6 months later when you want to reprogram it. And when you go back, you do another cage 6 months later, you find out that the wonderful little digital timers you got on Amazon, well, they don't exist anymore. And so you got to get another one. And now you have two different timers where you forget how to program them. And I mean, even the Miss King timer, it's you got to be an engineer to figure out which buttons to double push, and you can do a manual cycle if you press the right button a couple of times and you know where to go. So that's the drawback of the digital timer. Now there's one more level of timer. You're gonna have to put that down because we don't have it here. Actually, I've got it somewhere, but that is the Wi-Fi timer. And those are pretty awesome because they have the advantages of the digital timer, but they're over Wi Fi. So that means you control them over the phone. And the advantage to that is, well, not only can you control it from anywhere that there's Wi Fi, uh, it's actually easy. Now they can put in UI, user interface, to make it easy to program, easy to control. And so the problem just I'm a classically trained electronics engineer, so I can tell you from example why those digital timers are so horrendously difficult to program. It's because buttons are expensive and take up real estate, and so you've got to figure out how to put so much capability into one button. So you have all these different do hit this button twice and then this button once, or hit these buttons the same time. It's a mess, but the smartphone just wipes that off. We don't have to worry about user interface because we have all that space on the screen. So the Wi-Fi ones are the ones that are coming into the ability to be used now. And so march of technology. It's great. And that is your intro to timers.
Oh
Back to you, James.
man, you mean I got to learn something else?
Yeah,
Jiminy Christmas. Let's go over cost.
cost. All right.
$6, 12 bucks, $14. How much is yours?
I think it goes up to 20, like $20 if you have an entire strip of six. I think it's something like that.
Okay, so you can do six for $20.
Okay, so you do these Casa smart plugs, and okay, that's $50 for six independent plugs grounded with three. Well, the UVBs aren't controlled, so six independent plugs for $50.
So it's pretty comparable. to the digital timers. A little bit more expensive, but not by much.
Yeah. So if you're, putting it all together, and the nice thing about the Casa, the smart plugs, is you just plug it into the strip. You don't have to have a block or anything between the
Right,
plug and the strip.
right. All right. Well,
So,
dang.
all right, there we go. So now back to you, James. Let's continue on with our tutorial.
Okay, so I guess we go into the fun part, right?
Let's go into the fun. Well, let's talk. Okay, you have all of those that electronic stuff that's nicely onto that board, but you know what? Anybody who's tried that, we know that there are so many different lengths of cords, and that's a real pain in the butt. So, how do you get everything to one location?
Length. Well, I could show you a way that I do it, but manufacturers' recommendations, the EUC and the IBU, would probably come to my house and haul me off for burning down half of California.
All right, everybody,
So,
do as James says, not as James does.
yeah, I'm a trained professional in these things, and you know,
We're about to find
I
out.
know how to
Okay.
cheat. Okay. Anyway, what I do is these. So you can go get yourself an extension cord, and then they sell these little plug-ins at Home Depot. Okay.
Okay.
And this is the safest way for non crazy carpenter guys who just cut wires and use tape to put them back
All right.
together.
And by the
Okay.
way, everybody watching, that's all of you. Okay. I don't know what James is about to say, but don't listen to him beyond this point. Just get those.
So these are really cool. These are for the average Joe. They have special little slips inside them. I didn't want to take the time to put this together because it takes three fingers and one extra hand. But what's cool about them is you can go get yourself an extension cord, a 20-footer, cut it off to the length you need, add this end to it.
Okay. This is the point where we don't do what James does. Okay. Don't be cutting your cords.
Okay, you can buy these little short cords at Home Depot, um, and but these you can get these little plug-ins, and they sell them for everything. So that's that. That's
Okay.
how I get my extension. What, Bill?
If you guys start cutting electrical cords, you didn't hear it here. Okay.
Huh? It's perfectly
What?
legal. They sell them at Home Depot. Okay, it's kind of safe. Okay. What?
Oh, I need a disclaimer on this
I
show.
know.
We're
I
kind
know.
of safe.
Uh,
All right. Anyway.
anyway, that's how I extend my cords. Um, well, not really, but I can't tell you the real way because it'll get bleeped out.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Um,
All right.
so that's how I would approach that. How's that?
Okay,
Um,
good. We're good.
but let's get into building this thing. What do you think, Bill?
I think that's a great idea.
Oh, before I get myself in more trouble. Okay, let me see if we can turn around over here. I kind of have it pre-set up. I'm going to do this thing straight out of the box, Bill.
All right.
Normally, I kind of pre-do everything a little bit so it speeds it up. So who knows what kind of catastrophe we're going to come in. Can you see my area good?
Yep.
All right. There's just one thing missing, though.
What's that?
I feel like I need some ambience.
Ambiance. Oh. What?
What? It's my friend Ficus.
Yeah, all right. That's an inside joke, everybody. The Illuminati's going to understand. All right, fine. Let that happen.
Ah, God, that was fun.
For those who are not in the know, I have this thing against ficus trees. They work. They're fine. They've been used with chameleons forever, but They're
I love them.
I
Bill don't like
prefer
them,
them.
so I try to bring up ficus I'm bringing one to Madagascar.
Frickin' heck.
So let's see if we can see this.
All
This
right,
is what's
those are
called
the
a
shelf
full
glides.
drawer extension glide.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. They come in a nice little package and they come in different sizes. I
Nice.
chose the one to fit inside of my cabinet. So this one's a little shorter than what I need. I have about 16 inches of space. I went ahead and got the 14, but I made my board a 16. Okay. Why? Because I can still have some of this material hanging off at the end of the slides. It's not really that critical. You can have a few inches both ways of your board hanging over um, for this to work.
Ha, just had to
This is what
pick some.
comes in the package. What's cool about this is it comes with everything. You're all complete. You got to be stronger than the paper. I'm getting feeble in my old age, Bill.
Keep going to the gym, folks.
Okay, so this side has nothing. This is where they trick you. This side has all the screws in it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And for $1 more, I can get these really cool ones, which are totally not necessary. But I'm just kind of that way.
Well, for $1 more,
So,
be
see
excessive.
this right here on the end? It has this little cushion. Okay, so what these do is they slide on rollers and they extend on 3 rails.
Uh huh.
Okay? But what's cool about that end one is, did you see that?
Ooh,
Oh,
whoa! What
whoa.
the
That's
heck?
called soft close.
Is that so it doesn't slam?
So when you push it in right at the end, it takes control, doesn't allow it to slam in, and it slides in real slow.
Ooh, that is worth $1.
For a buck,
I,
why not?
that's worth $10. Don't tell
Anyway, that's how
Brazil
these are.
Benita.
So basically, what these do is one of these will go on either side of your drawer, and when you're opening and closing your drawer, this is the slide for it.
Perfect.
Um,
Love it.
the technology has come a million miles since back when you and me were kids, Bill, where they just had 2 wheels and a bar in there to roll your drawer out on.
Oh my goodness.
And the plastic wheel that always broke. These are full ball bearings. I don't know if you can see them. They're kind of in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what's crazy? This was a whole $15.
Ooh,
Is
nice.
that a big spend? I don't think so. Not for
No,
soft close.
not if you want to be awesome.
Huh? So let's go back over here.
That's cheap
Burp, burp,
awesomeness,
burp,
people.
burp, burp, burp. Okay. So I cut myself a 16 by 16 piece of plywood. There's not a lot of rocket science involved in this, Bill. What I try to do is place them where they give the most support. So I know this is my front, okay, because the back is sealed. So I want to take my front and I want to make sure that it's slid all the way to the front. Okay? Let's see. So I'm going to take that little guy and put him right at the front. Does it have to be anywhere specific? Not really. They just have to be parallel to each other. If they're not parallel, when you open and close it, it's going to bind on you. You'll know you didn't do it right. The other thing is, these little screws, you can't find them freaking anywhere.
Hmm.
These are awesome screws. Whatever you have left over, keep them for the future. I promise you'll find a use for them. So, really not that hard. Put it to the front, pick a hole, stick a screw in it. Okay? I do the same thing with the other side. Guesstimate. All right, I'll use a tape measure.
I would, but I am a mere mortal.
1.5 inches, right on the money. Go figure. Once I got that first one in, I'm going to come back here. You're going to look through these holes and you're going to find a spot where you can screw it into the second section of this. Or you can come back here to that little spot. And really what you're trying to do, let's just double check. Make sure we're the same distance. 10 1/4. God. Why do I even use a tape measure, Bill? Put another one back here. Now there's a little black tab in here. I'm going to show you as soon as I put this other screw in, so she don't move around on me. See this little black tab?
I do.
Okay. That little black tab releases it'll release your track. Do you need to take that off? I usually don't, but sometimes there might be a situation where you need to take it apart. Okay? So, this little black tab right here releases it.
Okay.
Okay? And then to get it to go back on, all you got to do is just slide it back on there. You see that soft close, Bill?
I see that. I like it. I want to do this just for that feature.
All right. So now we got that on there. You already can get the principle, right?
Yep.
Kind of got an idea what's going to happen here. Let's put the power outlets on top.
Okay.
All right. This is the most miserable part for me because there's no true way to get a dimension. If you look on the back of these turkeys, they have a hole there and 2 holes there. Okay? They have a radius to edge. How do you freaking measure that? It's almost impossible.
Calipers?
It, calipers?
I'm an engineer.
Technically, it's an inch. I've tried it. It just doesn't seem to work for me. So, what I want to do for me, you got your own thing to do. I'm going to go ahead and put a screw in here. Just enough distance down. Here's the problem I have with the other one. I guess I'm jumping around like I always do, Bill.
We're here for it.
My timer and my block.
Yep.
When I go like this, you see the dimension that I have left? Well, gosh darn it, it hangs over the back side of the board. And I had no way to make that work. So I had to pull that one back apart, and I got smart this time. And it's all about trial and error. And when I put that guy on there, what I did is I made sure that when I put these two together, they flushed up. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Starting to see the picture?
I'm starting to see it.
What the heck?
Well, look at that.
My transformer sits right on top of it.
Okay.
Huh?
All right.
So a little pre-planning goes a long way. I did the same thing with my cord. I've got this big, huge extra cord. Well, I don't want to cut it off because Bill will get mad at me.
Yes. You get censored.
So I wanted to make sure that I could get all that cord in there and have it kind of. So I put this next guy just close enough that we can do the same thing with that guy. I'm going to tell you, the hardest part about this whole trick is getting those 2 screws to line up with your power block. Notice how I didn't do that in front of you, because I spent 20 to 30 minutes cussing. move it a little this way, move it a little that way. All right.
Can't cuss either on YouTube. Well, you can, but then you gotta put a warning.
I really learned how not to cuss after having children, but every once in a while it slips out.
You're on a
So,
construction site. How do you communicate without cussing? Oh, that looks so pretty. But okay, all right, all
what do
right.
you see? What do you see? What don't you like?
Well, I like it. I just realized you have the top one has the cords coming up the top, and the bottom one has them coming down from the bottom.
Right. So they all come out of the top. What I did is I offset these so that when this cord comes out, it misses the,
Oh, okay, all
it
right.
gives you just enough room. That's why I offset the two top and
I
bottom
see.
so that they would fit in between each plug. Okay. And really, basically, the next step is to just take this guy out
Mm-hmm.
like so.
Yeah, I need to see how you're actually going to install this in a cabinet.
And you screw that right to the inside of your cabinet.
Well,
Now, I can do it for you if you want me to. I got
how
a
do you
little.
do it? Well, how do you do it to make sure that it goes on straight? Because you got this. That's going to be an awkward
Okay, first of all,
thing.
I don't put all this crap on there when I put it in. The
All
second thing
right,
I
all
do
right.
is, you see this hole in the back?
Yep.
There's one right here in the back. What I'll do is I'll put that screw in first and get my little. Do I have one here?
So you're literally holding this big thing up by one hand, and then your other hand has the screwdriver.
Exactly. Let me see if I can make it. You're basically going to put your screw in here or lay your cabinet on its side. Put your screw in there, put one screw in. Now it's hinging, and I'll just put a little torpedo level on there or eyeball it. You know me, I'm pretty good at
Yeah,
eyeballing.
you'll eyeball it.
Huh? That's basically what I do. I'm going to go ahead and paint this and install it. But the other thing you can do is for your fans, what I'll do with those after I've got it painted, of course, is I just use a little Velcro and I put some Velcro on the back of each fan and stick it right to the board. And then
Okay.
whenever I have it close to whatever I need to, I'll put those on the front so that way I can adjust them while I'm have the unit out, and it gives me nice easy access.
Okay. And so once you have that installed, then you just have those two power strip cords going out the back
I
and
don't.
going.
I've plugged one of the power strip. That's why I did it so close.
Ah, okay. All right.
So the first one goes plugged into the first one, and now I only have one plug coming out of it. I like to get the one with the 5 foot end and the heavy duty cords.
Okay.
It's really super easy.
And then and this is why we have Bill here, uh, make sure you do the math and figure out how many watts of power you are pulling through, and make sure you have a power strip that can handle all of that power, and each one of the extension cords can handle the power that you're pulling through it. And so this is the reason why the fire department does not like you stringing together all of these power strips, is because it's very easy to use all of the plugs and you overwhelm the power strip, bring in too much power, it heats up, it starts to melt, starts fires, and all this kind of stuff. And so be very careful, do your math. You look at the lights, it's a 60-watt bulb, that's 60 watts. Now, most of these are what, 1250 watts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Your LEDs are almost they're like 6 or 7 watts a piece. They're really low,
yeah.
22 watts.
So,
Um,
I mean, it's the stuff that we use is low power. And so you're not going to have a problem with one cage. The problem is when we start to expand and then we start to plug things in without thinking. And you know how we chameleon people like to collect things, and then we end up with 10 chameleons, and then we have 10 things all daisy chained together, that is when it starts to become a problem, and it's a fire risk. So this is very serious. Be cognizant of how much power you are pulling through each one of these electrical components. And back
So
to you, James.
these here are heavy duty, and they can handle more power than you can put into the system. So just so you know, they sell heavy duty ones. Everything I buy is heavy duty, from the timers to the plugs to the extension cords that I use. Everything I use is 12 gauge or higher, and it really doesn't create an issue. Your house power, you're allowed a certain amount of lights. You're overcharged with you have more power in your plugs than you have plugs. So they do that on purpose to not create heat, which is caused by too much energy draw. So most rooms can handle. I'm
Yeah,
under the.
we're
I think it's 6 lights, 6 household lights, which are 100 watts plus, and you're allowed four. No, it's 6 lights and 10 plugs are allowed to each room.
yeah, manufacturers, government organizations, and standards, and everybody watched the Christmas Story movie, and we all tried to learn from it. But
I didn't
you,
learn.
you're going to be you if you insist on trying to beat the system, you probably can do it. So just be careful.
One last thing before you put all this together, uh, and that's you want to check your power before you put the whole system together. Make sure that it's not doing any arcing or sparking or anything like that. I would do this preemptively in a room where you can put it out with water and unplug it. Don't do it underneath the cabinet right at the moment you're getting ready to fire it up. Do a little pre-check. It's always safe to do that, like we're going to do right now. Let's make sure my plant's in the right place.
Oh, great.
And
Lovely
I'm just going to
ambiance.
go over here and plug this in.
The
And
ambiance of
hopefully you
sass.
don't get any sparks out of it.
That's a good thing to talk about. You got this down there with the mister and the fogger. How do we make sure water and electricity don't mix?
Was I testing this? Oh, what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What?
What?
That's
Well,
why we built this, Bill. What I like to do is put them up on the side. Let's go to the last picture
all
before I
right.
test this. Okay, there's one on the ground.
What?
Okay. Yeah, can you believe it? So
No.
why did I do that one down?
Why the heck did you do that one down?
Well, I'm going to tell you. First of all, the dang thing was huge. If you look, there's six on that. What that covers is it actually covers 3 cages. That is a huge panel for 3 separate cages. There's 3 separate fans, one separate fogger, but all the lighting and everything is separate. So putting it up in the air, it was so heavy, I was afraid it was going to create an issue, and that's why I dropped it down. But here's the cool thing: it's still lifted up by that inch and a half of material. Not inch and a half. It's about a half an inch. So you still got a half an inch of room before water will actually get to that if it were to
Yeah,
flood the area.
it'll get all over your floor before it
Gets on top of that
gets
panel.
up to
It's
your
raised up
electronic.
above it. The other thing,
Yeah.
if you notice, Bill, is guess what do you think I used on top of that?
Flex seal?
Flex seal! Huh? The whole bottom of that cage section there is covered in rubber Flex seal.
Okay.
Okay, and let's go to the next one. The last picture we have here. That system, I didn't have a lot of room. So you can see I have my Mist King in there. I've got my fogger. I've got my fans. You got 2 fans.
You got looks
Two,
like you got 3 fans there.
there's 2 fans that are running the inside of the cage system. I have 2 computer fans on top, and the third one, offset from the other 2, is the fan for the fogger.
Okay.
Those are adjustable time adjusters. Okay, and then I've done the same thing. I've got my down below. You can see my brick with my fogger and my fogger fan plugged into the brick. And then the rest of the system is the Jungle Dawn, the lights. But you can see on the end there that I use these little guys. Do I have one out here? I use these little electrical clips. Okay, and these are made for holding conduit and other
Mm,
things. And these are like 5 cents a piece. And I use them all along that back edge to hold the wires up out of the way.
yep.
And the main reason I do this stuff, you guys, is to keep it up out of the water if it ever gets wet underneath.
All right.
All right.
Okay. I think we've pretty much covered it.
Okay. Well, I should test my system, don't you think, Bill?
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's do
Oh,
that. Let's
okay.
do that.
Let me go over and just plug this in. Oh, geez! Listen to what Bill says. Oh my God! Do not touch the power.
Folks, this is what I have to do.
Bet you didn't see that one coming, did you? Ah,
Always an adventure, James.
what? Ah, I'm having so much fun with you guys.
Ever.
Huh?
Oh boy. All right, you. Okay. Um. All right. Anything? Any more shenanigans you got up your sleeve?
Nope. Think we're good for one episode.
All right. We've so that this is a good one. This is a good one. And everybody, we'd like to see what you're doing. As far as if you put together your electronics and you're doing it in a way that looks really cool, it looks organized and safely done. We want to see it. Send us pictures, and we'll share it so everybody can see different ways of doing it.
Same thing with your habitats.
Yep.
Let's see your habitats. Show me something. We could all learn. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the best thing in the world, but something good can come from somebody else's idea. Somebody can take it to the next level. That's what I'm trying to give you guys all of my ideas so that you can take it to the next level.
Yeah, we've
And
had a number of people saying that they've been using what they've learned here and they've been doing stuff. Oh my goodness, we want to see that. So
yes,
share what you've gotten from this show. I mean, that would be very special for me and James to be able to
yeah,
say, "Hey, this came for this show." I mean, us sitting around fooling around with James Garage actually did something in the world.
right.
Oh, all right. James, do we have any words of wisdom that we want to share with the community?
Oh man, you're making me behave, Bill. Listen to Bill's advice and don't play around with electricity. Do it the smart way.
That's right, everybody. Be safe. Be safe. And if you're not, don't say you saw it here.
Right, right.
All right, everybody.
Email me. All right.
James. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.